Welcome, everyone, to the Dynamics Weekly newsletter and podcast with a focus on news relating to Microsoft Dynamics 365, AX, GP, NAV, and SL. And when I say 365, that's for Business Central and F&O. And this mainly focuses on, but not always, but it mainly focuses on financial reporting, budgeting, and analysis. Noah here, and I am glad to be back with you. This week I am over in London as it is. So just a quick trip over here, flying Friday, staying the weekend, flying back home Wednesday night. It's just enough time for me to meet up with family and college buddies before I rush back over to the States. I'm actually typing up this newsletter and recording this podcast before Friday and setting on a schedule to post because I kind of doubt that I'll have enough time to do all this while I'm overseas. But want to get it out there while it's there for you, and I will send some pictures in the newsletter when I get back. In this edition for April 21st, the topics we're looking at: how to best manage book codes, another great topic for budget managers. Recently posted budget topics because I put out a few budget related items on LinkedIn and on our website since I started this podcast and newsletter. So I just want to recap those and keep those in one location so we'll have a running tally of what they are. We have a demo of Prospero Financial Reporting and Budgeting coming up on April the 28th after I come back. DynamicsCon is in Chicago next month. Last week, or early this week, I had said that DynamicsCon was this week. So I was confused. It was not in April. This is going to be in May for DynamicsCon in Chicago. So sorry about that mistake. You've got one more month to book your ticket and get up there to Chicago. Trial sites are available for Prospero Financial Reporting and Budgeting. We are rolling those out. Seems like the year is picking up speed here as far as pre-sales work. A little bit of discussion here about Dynamic Communities Academy classes. And we'll talk about our June training class registrations opening for Dynamics 365 F&O Financial Reporting, Microsoft Dynamics Management Reporter for AX, GP, and SL, and Prospero Financial Reporting for 365 BC, F&O, AX, GP, NAV, and SL, all of the Dynamic solutions. Budgeting, how to best manage book codes. And this applies to all of the Dynamics ERP solutions, even though they have different naming conventions for what we call book codes. So don't get the terminology different. It's just a different way to separate the data between things like budgets and forecasts. So we're going to look at that, and as budget administrators, it's always a great practice to keep this as simple as possible. So by all means, start off with a simple option, and if you can't handle everything you need with that option, go on and look at the other two options listed here. So keeping multiple versions of book codes is fine. You'll see a lot of that as far as like book codes for actuals, original budgets, approved budgets, forecasts, and more. The LinkedIn post has a attached PDF that discusses ideas for handling generic book codes, multiple versions of book codes for the same year, book codes tied to specific years, and key points to keep in mind with all of this. So let's start off with talking about generic book codes. So while numerous book codes may be created in certain situations, you do need to keep um, one set of books for budget. Now, most common book codes for budget would be the word budget, and another one would be forecast. So those two we commonly see as generic book codes that can be used throughout the year and from one year to the next, and really helps to reduce maintenance for the budget administrator and not having to worry about multiple versions of those book codes from one year to the next. For instance, the generic book code budget could be used in a single column definition, which could then be used by a single input definition. This input definition could be reused from one year to the next simply by changing the calendar or fiscal year on the input definition. An easy fix there. On the book code setup screen, the checkbox to allow input for the appropriate year would be changed as needed from one year to the next. And for the column definition, since it refers to a generic book code, there would be no need to make any changes to the column definition. No need to go into the column definition and update the year because it's a generic reference. So this is a really great option if you've got a simple budgeting process. You can get by with generic book codes like budget or forecast and reuse those from one year to the next. Some organizations require multiple copies of a budget or forecast for the same year or period. For instance, an original budget book code and an approved budget book code may be required for any given year, a budget, or forecast period. This situation requires a separate column definition and a separate input definition. So already it's a little bit of duplication there. It would be easiest to create the book codes, like the original budget column definition and the original budget input definition, and then use file save as to create a copy for the approved budget version. So build the first one, use file save as to make copies of that column definition and the input definition to make those completely separate from the first one. Also, under Tools and Copy Plan, you can use that to copy account balances from one input definition to the next between book codes or between input definitions. You can also copy with that same tool line item details, human resource details, capital details, and custom details. So all those are options under Tools and Copy Plan. On the book code setup screen, the checkbox to allow input for the appropriate book code would be changed as needed from one year to the next or from one version to the next. Next, while book codes referencing a specific calendar or fiscal year are rarely needed, some organizations may prefer these as an added layer of archiving budget and forecast data. For instance, the generic book code budget could be used for multiple years, but budget 2026 and budget 2027 might be preferred as an added layer of archiving. Similar to the requirement for same year versions we just talked about, this situation requires a separate column definition, which you would name those column definitions something like budget 26 and budget 27. And it would also need separate input definitions like budget input 26, budget input 27, so that it lines up with the year for each one of those. So a couple things to keep in mind there. If you can get by with just a generic book code and reuse that from one year to the next, that's great. If you need multiple versions within one year, that's fine too. And you can also tie book codes to specific years as an extra layer of archiving that data. Key points to keep in mind here: use generic book codes if possible. Use allow input and open years to control what data can be changed. Visibility and security settings also control user access. You can use tools, copy plan to copy data between versions. Also, keep in mind that report definitions use book code references, so you'll probably need to update some report definitions. Hopefully, these helps will help you get the best use for budgeting. But if you need help diving into any of these topics, email me at noah.mosley@msxgroup.com. So far, I have posted 4 different topics on budgeting, and I've got those in the newsletter. They cover how to lock and unlock budget data, preparing to start your first forecast of the year, using copy plan to copy budget details between versions, and the one we just talked about, how to best manage book codes. So I'll keep that little segment there in the newsletter with the links to those different topics because they come in handy when you start setting up your budgets and your forecast. Demos. We have a demo coming up on the 28th of April. That is for Prospero financial reporting and budgeting. It's a general overview demo. It's a 1 hour or less online demonstration of the financial reporting, budgeting, and forecasting features of Prospero financial reporting and budgeting. We will record it, so if you can't make it, still register for it, and we'll send you out that recording after it's done. Topics that we talk about during these webinars for financial reporting: we talk about report generation, the process of just going in there, running reports, individual reports, multiple reports, different options for output, drill down to account and transaction level details. Great topics for accountants. We love being able to see where those balances are actually coming from. We talk about summarizing drill down by any companies, segments, or dimensions from your chart of accounts. You can look at any report data in numeric layout or in graphical layout as well. And the graphical options are dynamic, and we say dynamic because you can actually double click and drill down through the charts and graphs to get to the lower levels of details. And we talk about report distribution options, whether you're sending that out to Excel, PDF copies, the printer, or publishing copies inside Prospero. The budget topics, we talk about the main input screens, including line item detail entries and notes, human resource budgeting for wages, taxes, and benefits for all of your employees, capital budgeting for budgeting for the cost and depreciation for new assets, history of budget changes so you can track down who's changed what numbers when and for how much. We look at budget versus statistical accounts for maybe using those to calculate balances. And my favorite, instant consolidations. And for forecasting data, we also mentioned that copy plan option to copy data from one input definition to another, like between book codes or between years, so that you can copy that data with a one screen wizard that uh, runs really quickly, copies all the information over for you. And for forecasting, actuals are really easy to include on your input screens because it's already being integrated to your GL actuals and pulled in on a regular basis. We've got all these posted on our website, and we've also got some other dates published on there as well. We do pretty much 2 webinars every month. So you'll find that on our website for Prospero-webinars. DynamicsCon, that is in Chicago next month. I had thought it was here in April, but nope, I got that wrong. It is in May, and that has it's going to be in Chicago. It's May 13th through May 16th. Let us know if you're going. We'll be there and presenting a financial reporting session on that Wednesday. So we'd love to meet you in person if you're there. If you can't make it, we hope to see you at the next one. Registration is open. They're still taking registrations for DynamicsCon at dynamicscon.com. Trial sites. So Microsoft is big on offering trial sites for Business Central, F&O, and we are offering in conjunction with those Prospero trial sites. These are 30-day trial sites. You can sign up to be on our waiting list for these to get a hands-on for financial reporting and budgeting. We can use Prospero's demonstration data or your real data as well, your own general ledger chart of accounts, your calendar, your book codes, your budgets, your account balances and transactions. We'll set up a couple of test reports for you and walk you through in an online session how to access the trial site, navigate the application, generate reports, make changes to reports, and analyze data. Trial sites are free, no credit card needed, and if you are under no obligation to purchase Prospero at the end of your trial. So just let us know with the comments or email me, and we'll get you added to that wait list for a 30-day trial site for Prospero. Academy classes. So most of our classes are online, but every year we do offer classroom setting classes. And these are in conjunction with Summit, which is going to be down in Orlando. We have two classes assigned to us at Dynamic Community Summit. That is going to be one for F&O's financial reporting application, and one for GP's Management Reporter Report Building Basics. Management Reporter is on the 18th. That is a Saturday, so before Summit actually gets kicked off and started. Um, and even though it says it's listed under GP Academy Users Group, you can still attend and join this class if you're using Management Reporter for AX or SL. So it's the same application for all three of those different options. And for 365 F&O, we have the financial reporting class. That's going to be on Sunday the 19th. Both of these classes, the financial reporting one for F&O and the management reporter class, these are 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. classes. You are in an actual classroom environment in Orlando, not online. Your instructor will be in the room with you leading demonstrations, hands-on exercises, and discussions. Registration for Summit is open, and registration for Academy classes, these two, is open as well. And plus, you can also register just for the Academy classes even if you don't go to Summit. But still, Summit is a great networking opportunity. It's great to get all those together. So come on down to Orlando for these Financial Reporting Academy classes. Stick around for Summit, and while you're there, go to Disney World or maybe Universal, somewhere in between. Other training class options. We have online training scheduled for June on the 17th, 18th, and 19th. Registration is open on our website, and we're going to keep that open until about the first part of June. So we have a Management Reporter Report Building Basics class on June 17th, and that's for any users of AX, GP, and SL. This hands-on instructor-led training class will provide Management Reporter users the knowledge they need to successfully build and manage financial statements in Microsoft's financial reporting and analysis solution. This class is taught by an MSX Group certified instructor using MSX Group created training materials. We cover stuff like building trial balance reports, building income statements, using reporting trees, all that from scratch. So if you've never used Management Reporter before, or you just need official training, or you just need a refresher, this is a great class for that option. On the 18th, we have a very similar class for Dynamics 365 F&O and their financial reporting application, which is really very similar to Management Reporter. Very few changes there. We go through about the same topics as far as building trial balance statements, building income statements, using reporting trees. You get hands-on exercises that we walk you through all online from the comfort of your own office or home. So great option there for F&O's financial reporting piece. And then on the 19th, this is June 19th, we have a class for Prospero financial reporting. Again, very similar topics. We will have you online, walk you through hands-on exercises for building statements like trial balance statements, income statements, departmental and location income statements, forecasted income statements. So hands-on exercises for walking you through that application, and Prospero applies for all of the dynamic solutions. So that's 365 Business Central, F&O, as well as AX, GP, NAV, and SL. So that applies to all those Dynamics ERP solutions. Okay, that's all I'm going to post for this newsletter. I'm glad you could join me, and I'll try to include a few picks from London in the next newsletter. As always, send me your comments. Good and bad comments are welcomed, but constructive comments are preferred. Likes, shares, and reposts are appreciated as well. Thanks, everybody, and have a great week.